Making it to the NAHL is not easy. Every year, thousands of players from the United States, Canada, and Europe compete for a spot in the league. Only a small percentage will actually get the opportunity to play in the North American Hockey League, one of the top junior leagues in North America, and an important pathway to NCAA Division I hockey. One of the main gateways into the league are the so-called pre-draft camps. But there is a lot of misunderstanding surrounding these camps. Many European players believe that if they receive an invitation to a pre-draft camp, they are already close to being drafted or signed. The reality is much more complicated. Unlike main camps, pre-draft camps are often not strictly invite-only. In some cases, almost anyone can register as long as they pay the registration fee. The cost of these camps is usually around $400 to $600 US, and players typically receive a camp jersey and play approximately 3 to 5 games over several days. On top of that, players and families also have to cover flights, hotels, transportation, food, and often several thousand additional dollars for the overall trip to North America. As a result, you can see elite AAA players, national team players, and long-term prospects on the same ice as players who realistically are not at the NAHL level at all. And that is exactly why it is important to understand the true purpose of these camps. For coaches and scouts, pre-draft camps are usually not primarily about discovering a random player from the crowd. The main purpose is to personally and closely evaluate players they have already been tracking for a longer period of time. Teams identify players throughout the season, at showcase tournaments, in AAA leagues, at combines, through video, and through scouting recommendations. The pre-draft camp is often the first opportunity to see those players for several consecutive days directly within the organization's environment. That is why these camps are typically held shortly before the NAHL draft in June. Organizations use them to confirm who to draft, who to tender, and who truly has the potential to become an NAHL player. Some organizations also hold smaller and more exclusive development camps. These camps are strictly invite-only, and teams invite mostly players whom their scouting staff already believes have a realistic chance to play in the NAHL. Development camps are usually much smaller and more detailed. They do not only include games, but also practices, meetings, fitness testing, and personal interviews. Organizations use these camps to evaluate players not only from a hockey standpoint, but also in terms of character, communication, mentality, and overall attitude. This is often where the real recruiting process begins. Another interesting aspect is that some organizations hold joint pre-draft camps together with other NAHL teams. A good example is the Aberdeen Wings, who have organized camps together with other NAHL organizations. As a result, players may be evaluated by several teams at the same time over the course of a few days. A strong performance can immediately open doors to multiple organizations at once. At the same time, the competition is extremely high. Standing out at a pre-draft camp is very difficult. And for players who were not directly invited or have not been followed long-term, it is often almost impossible. Not because they are not talented, but because organizations usually arrive with a fairly clear idea of which players they specifically want to evaluate. Invited players generally receive significantly more attention from coaches and scouts. Teams are evaluating game pace, skating, hockey IQ, character, compete level, and the ability to handle the pace and physical intensity of junior hockey. Many players think they need to dominate individually or score goals in order to stand out. But coaches are often watching completely different things. How quickly a player thinks, how they react under pressure, how they move without the puck, how they communicate, how consistent they are every shift. For defensemen especially, coaches pay close attention to quick decision-making, the first pass, gap control, backward skating, playing under pressure, and overall pace of play. Today, the NAHL is not a league where it is enough to simply be talented. It is a league where players must handle high pace and physical intensity almost every shift. And that is exactly what coaches are trying to identify during pre-draft camps. Which players truly have potential for the next level, and which players are not there yet. How to prepare for an NAHL pre-draft camp. Most players think preparing for a pre-draft camp is mainly about training hard on the ice. In reality, the preparation is much more complex. A pre-draft camp is not only about hockey skills. It is several days during which organizations evaluate how a player handles pace, fatigue, stress, pressure, communication, and overall behavior in a professional environment. And that is exactly why talent alone is often not enough. The first important factor is physical preparation. These camps are demanding. Multiple games within a short period of time, limited recovery, travel, jet lag, stress, lack of sleep, and a very high pace of play. A player must be prepared to perform at a high level for several consecutive days. One of the biggest mistakes is overtraining right before the camp. Many players arrive tired, overloaded, or physically heavy from intense final workouts. Ideally, players should arrive fast, fresh, explosive, and well recovered. Mental preparation is also extremely important. A pre-draft camp is a stressful environment. Everyone knows they are being evaluated. Every shift can matter. Because of that, many players start playing differently than they normally would. They try to do too much. They force individual plays. They play nervous. But coaches are usually not looking for a highlight player. They are looking for players who can play effectively at a high pace. That is why it is extremely important to stay true to your player identity. If you are a defensive defenseman, do not suddenly try to play like an offensive rover. If you are a smart two-way player, do not force individual plays just to stand out. The best players at these camps often look simple, calm, and efficient. Another extremely important factor is pace of decision-making. The NAHL is a very fast league. Scouts can often tell within the first few shifts whether a player can handle the pace. And it is not only about skating, it is about the speed of thinking. How quickly a player reads the game, how quickly they react under pressure, how quickly they move the puck. That is why, especially for defensemen, coaches pay close attention to the first pass, gap control, playing under pressure, movement without the puck, and the ability to stay composed instead of looking chaotic. Preparation away from the ice is also critical. Sleep, hydration, nutrition, recovery. At these camps, details often make the difference. Players who physically fade after 2 days usually stop making good decisions as well. Communication with coaches and scouting staff also matters a lot. Organizations evaluate character, body language, reactions after mistakes, attitude, and professionalism. Sometimes the staff remembers a player mainly because of how he carries himself away from the ice. And maybe the most important advice of all, do not try to do something extraordinary at camp. Focus on being consistent, because the players who handle the pace, make good decisions, and look reliable every shift are often the ones who earn another opportunity.